Are you sick of the dad bod and want to get rid of it with a proven yet simple method? Sperm counts are predicted to reach 0 in 2045. The average man's sperm count in Western countries has dropped by 59% from 1973 to 2011. Now, I'm no big supporter of these kinds of studies, but I can agree on one part, that men's health has taken a rapid turn for the worse in modern times. So keep watching to find out how you can get rid of the dad bod. The dad bod is taking center stage in modern society, but all for the wrong reasons. But it's just a symptom of the true cause. And it would make it easier, much simpler, if you just had the step-by-step system and path you need to walk on to get results. In this video, I'll show you exactly what you need to do, when and why, so that you can make your dad bod your old self and never worry about getting it back again. But first, what is the dad bod? The classic dad bod is made up of the classic beer belly, maybe some man boobs and being soft around the edges. It's certainly not lean, healthy or muscular, but it's not morbidly obese either. In essence, he's like your everyday dad in the modern world, working a regular desk job or running a business which keeps him on his toes. And he has a family to look after, guide and support. He longs for the day that he fits back into his old jeans and to feel the energy that he had back in his 20s. But more than anything, he wishes his family would look at him with a bit more respect, and instead of being the brunt of their in-jokes. But everyone knows this is dad, and the way he's been for a little while now. So now is the time to change that, and for you as a dad to start leading by example. So how does the dad bod come into existence? Well, the formation of it is years of work, and unfortunately fat doesn't pile on and burn off overnight. It's an accumulation of years and years worth of inactivity, poor lifestyle choices, and most importantly, a fat state of mind. So let's briefly take each one by one before we get into exactly how to get rid of the dad bod. A lack of activity is telling your body that you don't need its full functionality anymore. And as the saying goes, use it or lose it. So inactivity is not just as simple as putting the fat on, it's also that your skeletal, muscular, digestive, circulatory, respiratory, nervous, urinary, reproductive, endocrine, lymphatic and immune systems come along for the ride too. And there are at least 78 organs in the human body, and each and every one of them is affected by the state of your health, for better or for worse. Your external state is simply a reflection of what's going on internally. Poor lifestyle choices are powerful signals to your body and your mind that you're in a state of stress and that you need help. So, in an effort to keep you alive, your body's tendencies for self-preservation and looking after you physiologically, as Maslow states in his hierarchy of needs. And as self-preservation is your #1 priority, these poor signals are telling your body to hang on to every ounce of fat as you may need it later in an emergency. And although it doesn't feel like an emergency, any man who has a dad bod is crying out for help, at least internally. And a lack of activity and poor lifestyle choices will leave your body stressed and in need of help. And here is what a fat state of mind will do to your body. If you're living a life primarily indoors in a toxic-laden environment and with very little sun exposure, all because you have work to do, well, you've been fooled into voluntary slavery where you get 4 weeks off a year, and in those 4 weeks, if you're heading somewhere sunny to enjoy the sun, sea and sand, you know this is what you need of more to be healthier and happier. Here's a story for you. One day, a fisherman was lying on the beach with his liner in the sea. A businessman came walking down the beach and noticed the fisherman, and he said, "You should get bigger nets and catch more fish." The fisherman replied, "What will my reward be?" The businessman said, "Well, you'll make more money and you'll be able to buy a boat, resulting in larger catches of fish." "And then, what will my reward be?" asked the fisherman again. Well, at that point, the businessman said, "You can hire people to work for you, start a whole operation and let your employees catch fish for you. You can become rich and spend the rest of your days sitting on the beach watching the sunset. You won't have a care in the world." The fisherman looked up and said, "What do you think I'm doing now?" So there it is. The only person being tricked by the 9-to-5 grind here is you. Don't sacrifice your mind or your body just for your job. The job that would replace you in an instant. Most dads I speak to think they're doing okay and that being fat is not that big of a problem. Except that it is. No matter what mental gymnastics you've used on yourself, and if you've put it off for this long to get in shape, then you've likely also developed a fat state of mind, which are the thoughts, behaviors, and actions which got you to where you are today. Now, let's take the fat version of you and the fit version of you. The fat version of you would come up with all of the excuses as to why you should skip a martial arts training session, and they will seem like valid reasons, at least on the surface. Or maybe you try doing it and you give up halfway, or you don't give it your full effort and do just enough to tick the box and say you did it. But the fit version of you would be up for the challenge and treat it as an opportunity to train his body and hone his martial arts skills. He would approach each and every move with full energy, aggression, and intention, resulting in him getting great results with not just his body composition, but his confidence, his energy, and his discipline too. And from a health and disease perspective, this extra visceral fat, the type that surrounds your organs, is way more dangerous than subcutaneous fat, which is the type that sits just under the skin. Excess visceral fat puts you at huge risk of cardiovascular or heart diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, and even cancers. So now, we have to reverse all the damage that's been done and create new activity baselines, positive lifestyle choices, and a warrior state of mind instead. Now, let's go through the step-by-step process to get rid of the dad bod. The first step to focus on to get rid of the dad bod is training. Now, forget what everyone else says about nutrition is where to start. We will cover that shortly. For now, training is the path that will take you to your goals of building muscle and losing fat the furthest and the fastest too. But for training to serve you well, you must pay your dues. You must put in the work, repetitions, and the energy. And it's like an unforgiving teacher. You have to do lots to please them, but when you stop training, your results and approval from them disappear much faster. So, the key is consistency with the right training methods. Here's the training split that I recommend to my students in my program, the Modern Warrior Transformation, and the same split that I also use personally. So here it goes. 3 days a week is functional strength training, which comprises whole body sessions with a big focus on rotational movements. These 3 sessions build the muscle, strength, and power needed to transform your body while burning fat for days on end. The next set of 3 days is martial arts training in the form of shadowboxing, bag work, footwork, and other drills. And this training creates incredible speed, techniques, and of course self-defense skills, whilst also being a great form of cardio to get lean really fast. Now, we do these on alternating days, and depending on the student and the stage they're at, there will be a run or sprints in their program instead of one of the functional strength or martial arts sessions. And each session, it only needs to be a maximum of 45 minutes. You have to remember it's more important what you do and that you do the right kind of training than it is to just train for hours on end. So in just 4.5 hours a week, you'll be in the best shape of your life and have gotten rid of the dad bod too. Lastly, have an active rest day on Sundays. This is not permission to be lazy and lie around all day, but you still need to go for a long walk or hike with the family, play with the kids, and so on. Now, this is the ideal way to bring your family into your world and lift them up on your journey. If you find that they are resistant at first, make sure you persevere, because it's your job as dad to guide them to what is best for their lives. This will pay dividends in the future for their health and their future children too. The second step to get rid of the dad bod is to correct your posture and biomechanics. Have you seen those before and after body transformation photos where people look taller? Postural correction not only makes you look better, but also reduces injury risk and increases longevity, as the body has less stress being placed on keeping you in balance. In martial arts, one of the first things that is taught is how to hold your stance. Your foundation is vital when fighting. It will make your strike stronger and your defense more sturdy. The perfect punch executed on poor foundations is useless. So what does this mean for getting rid of the dad bod? Think about it. If less stress is present, your body is in a better state of homeostasis, also known as balance. We'll touch on this more shortly. And this is the internal balance we require to thrive as humans. And one of the best ways you can achieve this balance is by optimizing your posture and biomechanics, which are simply just your movement patterns or the way that your body moves. And one amazing benefit I find with students by doing this as well is that they drop the fat and weight faster if they're overweight too. Or they get into shape faster as they recover quicker so they can train harder, and each repetition activates more muscle fibers, literally forcing their body to change visually and in their skill set too. And this happens as the body can rebalance itself better, even if the position it's in right now is not a good one. A well-aligned posture takes less energy to maintain and uses less energy in its movements or day-to-day upkeep. So, how do you go about correcting your posture? It's a two-part process, which looks like this. First up, you have to get your body into the right state to receive the signals it needs to grow, change, build muscle, and even drop fat. To do this, you must take on myofascial release, also known as MFR. It's basically just a form of self-massage which gets rid of the knots, excess tightness, and pain in the body. It allows the fascia to function properly. And fascia is the body's interconnected network of connective tissues that envelops and keeps every organ, blood vessel, bone, nerve fiber, and muscle in place in the body. And all you need to get your fascia back in place is a tennis ball for a softer release, or if you want a deeper release, a cricket or a hockey ball will do the job. Go for the former if you're super tight, or the latter if you're up for a challenge and want quicker and deeper results. All it requires is for you to place the ball with the most amount of pressure in the areas of your body that are excessively tight. And gravity is your friend here. Use it wisely and allow your body to relax into the position, just like when you get a deep massage. You need to get deeper to get deeper release. Do this every day for at least 15 minutes, but the more the better. And focus on the whole body, but find the areas which are causing you most problems and spend some time there. You can do it whilst relaxing in the evening, reading, or anything else which doesn't require much attention. I'll link a video in the description below on how to do this exact process. Secondly, now your body and your fascia are working better, go back to step one, which is training. But now you should feel the difference in your training as well. I want you to think about this. The movements and the techniques will feel easier to execute. Pain will be less. Recovery will be faster, and muscle growth as well as fat loss will speed up too. And now you also have a reference point for how your body felt during training, and that's before you did the MFR and now after too. And now the third step to get rid of that bod is nutrition. It's time to drop the fad diets and focus on solid principles instead. Be honest and ask yourself, how many times have you tried to get into shape and use nutrition as the primary focus and vehicle to get you there? It's probably been quite a lot, I'd imagine. I am a big proponent of the right nutrition, but I typically recommend that its focus comes after the training and the right postural correction setup. So why is this? It's simple. Nutritional changes, they fuel you from the inside out, but they won't magically change your body composition. Only building muscle can do that to any meaningful degree. Also, most people, they fail to keep up their diets as there is little internal stimulus that comes about quickly enough from eating a healthy meal. Let me explain it like this. When you do a great training session, you feel amazing afterwards. You can feel your muscles activated, your energy comes alive, sleep gets deeper, your libido increases, and you feel on top of the world. Now, when can you say the same after eating a nutritious meal? It's very rare, if not impossible, for a great steak to make you feel the same from just one meal. And sure, over time, nutritional changes, they do make a big difference, but their effect is not as instant as training is. So we want to stack the instantaneous feeling that you get from training as your main habit, then supplement it with nutrition after. Here are a few simple nutritional principles you need to master before going into the micro details. Make sure you eat high quality whole foods, including meats, eggs, and fish. Consume hydrating fruits like watermelon and mangoes. Eat saturated fats and organs like beef and liver. Drink filtered water which isn't from plastic filters or bottles. Remove seed oils and switch to coconut oil or animal fats. Stop having artificial sweeteners and use honey instead. Avoid processed plant-based foods like mock meat, soy, and vegetable butter. Get rid of the highly processed foods with more than 4 ingredients. The fourth step to get rid of the dad bod is optimizing your hormones. Now, your hormones are what regulate the function of your organs, affecting growth and development, reproduction, nutrient use, your sleep-wake cycle, and your mood. They also impact how the body stores and uses energy, as well as controlling the volume and levels of salt and sugar in the blood, which is vital for fat loss. Your endocrine system actually dictates how much of each hormone is released and when. And unfortunately, in most men, these hormones are all over the place due to their unhealthy modern lifestyles. Their testosterone, cortisol, and thyroid, amongst others, are all out of sync. Now, there are so many ways to optimize your hormones, but I'm going to give you the simplest one to focus on, and when this is done daily, the effects are phenomenal. It's simply just getting more sunlight. And here's how the sun can transform your health. Plants transform sunlight to produce energy. Solar panels transform sunlight to produce energy too. And humans are no different. We need sunlight to optimize our bodies so we can efficiently produce energy. And for even better results, utilize the sun at its peak at midday, at sunrise and sunset to get a variety of benefits. Catch the sun at these times of the day as a daily habit, boost your vitamin D exposure and reset your circadian rhythm, which is the natural human sleep and wake cycle. Instantly, you'll get better sleep, more energy and experience less stress too. Spend at least 15 minutes outside in the sun within 30 minutes of waking and watch the sunrise and sunset too for at least 15 minutes as well. And never wear sunscreen or sunglasses, as this will offset the benefits and create more damage in the long run. Not only is sunscreen a cocktail of cancer-causing chemicals, but along with wearing sunglasses, you're blocking all messages to your body that you're being exposed to the sun, which leaves your body unprepared for the exposure and increases your risk of getting sunburn. The fifth step to getting rid of the dad bod is getting deep sleep. So many guys think that if they sleep 8 hours, it's all good, but they're not assessing the quality of their sleep. Remember, sleep is the place where your muscles grow and repair themselves. And this growth and repair is what allows you to train hard in each session and keep building the body and mind that you want day by day. With that in mind, here are some simple sleep principles that will help you to wake up rested and ready to go with loads of energy every morning. Set a consistent sleep and wake time that you commit to every day. No screen time, at least 1 hour before bed. Opt for reading instead. Turn your phone onto flight mode. Keep all technology out of the bedroom, including your phone. And no fluids at least 1 hour before sleeping. Do MFR before getting into bed. And lastly, journal to get any thoughts out of your mind. The sixth step to getting rid of the dad bod is to create an atmosphere of mental growth in your life. Too many dads focus on work and sometimes the family without any thought of their own growth. Now, getting yourself immersed in learning about the likes of philosophy, psychology and so on will help you to keep a curious mind at heart. And you'll always be ready to adapt to the inevitable challenges that life will throw at you, and you'll be a lot less likely to give up on your fitness journey too. You see, mental and physical growth go hand in hand. And when you realize this, you understand why practices like martial arts have such a deeply embedded mind, body and spirit element to them. To instill this practice of mental growth in your life, here are a few basic principles that you can follow. First up, find out what your biggest barriers to growth are mentally and with your fitness, then gear your reading around these topics. For example, if you have a lack of discipline, find relevant philosophy books to read that will change how you think about yourself. Next, instead of watching TV, sports, or other mindless activities, commit to reading for at least 30 minutes a day. And lastly, stop watching the news. To wrap this up, if you do all of these things consistently and aggressively, there is no reason why you'll not get rid of the dad bod for life. And if you want help to personalize this system to your situation, lifestyle and goals, then reach out to me and I'll do everything I can to make sure you get rid of the dad bod once and for all. So that's it for how to get rid of the dad bod. Go ahead and watch my next video, which is building motivation to get in shape, and learn how you can get your motivation back even if you've been in a slump for a while and are wondering if you'll ever get in shape again. I'll cover the key mental shift you need to make, a simple mental exercise to get you there, and the first steps you should take to make training and your transformation a lifelong change. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more content on building your Warrior's Physique and leading your family by example.